God knows what He's doing. It's the perfect time to be transformed. I'm Mike Morrison with 2 minutes of insight and inspiration. Welcome to 2 Minute Transformation. I have to tell you, I've had my eyes open to a great many things through the years. When I first became a believer, I lived under a type of legalism. I practiced and preached a type of Christianity that was rules-based. You dressed a certain way, you talked a certain way, you wore your hair a certain way, because that's how Christians do it. I discovered, though, the rules had been unchanged since the early 1970s when someone came along and updated everything from the 1950s. Something began to happen to me a number of years ago, and I started to discover that God is the God of the individual. Moses was no Abraham, David was no Joshua, Elijah was no Samuel. Nope, they were all wonderfully unique individuals with their own styles and personalities. The only thing these men had in common was that they all believed and served God with all they had in them, and God used them individually. So we come to Acts 15. Here it's men with names like Paul, Barnabas, and Peter. They find themselves faced with what has become the age-old debate. What are we going to do with these believers who aren't carbon copies of us? Well, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. They decided to let them be who they are and encourage them to focus on practices of the church that were of greater importance to their development as disciples of Jesus Christ. It was Simon who reminded the council in Jerusalem in verse 18, known to God from eternity are all His works. In other words, God has always known what He's up to. I have always had a great love of young people. All through my years of ministry, I have watched as God appeals to the freshness of the young mind to do new things and exciting things in the body of Christ. God is always up to new and exciting things if we just stay out of His way and let Him do it. He knows what He's up to. Don't get me wrong, this liberty of individualism isn't a license to do as one pleases, but rather to do as He ought. So let God be God and be transformed.